Okay.
You're all set?
Mhm.
All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the May 5th Board of Selectmen's meeting. We had a tiny bit of technical difficulty, but we're up and running. I
Well,
believe.
May 4th.
May 4th, did I say 5th?
You
May
did.
4th,
Pushing it ahead, I understand.
yeah.
Seems like in my app.
All right then, as corrected, May 4th. So with that, we'll go through our file folders, and looks to be a quick meeting today, judging from the amount of paperwork on the table.
Thank you, sir. Done.
All right, with that out of the way, let's proceed into our minutes, approval for a minute. David, do you need us at all?
Well, later, normally, it's just with DRA, I want to finish 3 timber yield taxes.
Yeah.
We want to add them to the signature
Gotcha.
folder.
I figured he was here for a reason.
Yeah, but I won't be done for about a half hour.
Okay.
I'll call you.
When you're ready,
I
come back
did the
in.
first one, and
All
I
right.
figure it's money in the pocket, we gotta get it.
Yeah, we'll take it.
Thank you, Dave. All right, so, approval of the minutes. This is a little lengthy this time. The, April 13th, regular meeting minutes were not done previously, or not available, I should say, I'm sorry. So, with that, I'll make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Done.
Okay.
All right.
Cahal and I. And now we have a April 20th work session, which was a mobile meeting with some of our vendors on the roads. I'll make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Again, any discussion?
None.
Oh.
All right.
Cahal and I. We have April 20th non-public sealed meeting minutes. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion?
None. All right.
Cahal and I. April 27th, regular meeting minutes. I'll make a motion to approve.
Fuller second.
Any discussion? Hearing none.
All right. All right.
Cahal and I. April 27th, non-public, not sealed minutes. I will make a motion to approve.
Fuller second.
All in favor?
All right.
Cahal and I. Let's see. What have I got here? Not yet presented in draft are the April 20th regular meeting minutes.
Right, those still need to be proofread. You'll have them next week.
Okay, thank you.
We're gonna have everything up to date next week.
Great. And will we be receiving some minutes from the ambulance EMS meeting on the April 26th for Action Ambulance with the multi-town group that got together? And
Will that be in September when you have your next meeting, or will they send them out ahead of time?
typically they send them out ahead of time. If we don't receive them, we can request them. I believe Ellen White was taking the minutes, and she's presently working for the town of Freedom as town administrator. So we could certainly contact Ellen and get an update. And was the April 28th meeting minutes weren't on the list, so.
Oh, I crossed it out because they did arrive. I had them not yet presented, but they are here.
Okay, so I will make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from April 28th, when the board went down and met with the fire department as a membership group.
Fuller second.
All in favor?
All right.
Cahal and I. With that, we are catching up on our meeting minutes. Wonderful. We have a manifest of $221,457.14. I will make a motion to approve.
Fuller second.
All in favor?
All right.
Cahal and I. The signature folders were pretty light this week. We had a couple of veterans exemptions in there, and not a lot else going on. It was a 91A request I saw. Mr. Edwards has requested the bank statements from the town for December 2020. That
Completed.
complete, thank you. All right. Audrey, what do you have for us today? Oh, I might say that I see that I saw the town report, and you've reformatted all that, and Chuck's picture for the town hall libraries in there, all color. It's a whole new look
It
this
is a
year.
very attractive booklet.
Yeah, it's great, great.
Nice job.
And the PDF of that is up on the town website?
Yeah,
is.
that's been up since Saturday.
Yeah, so-
Yeah. Yeah, so that got in under the wire. There were a lot of last minute things I had to follow up on. Sometimes the obvious is blind to the person looking at it. I had trouble getting two sheets going together, and you needed kind of headers to understand them. And someone said, well, why don't you just take this sheet and move it there, and that would happen. So things like that. You know, I didn't like the cover not being centered. I was rather picky my first DRA started their audit yesterday. They anticipated being here for 3 days. They were here for 1. They won't be back for a week or 2. They were very impressed how David had everything in order for them. So they arrived at like 10. They were out of here at 3:30. It was awesome.
I was in the building and yeah, that was, these guys were, I think they all knew David, but he was just way ahead of the curve on all of this. It was pretty impressive.
That's great.
I like it.
And I believe David has uncovered a lot of billing situations from the past that have been straightened out. So man's earning his keep, I'd have to say.
Good.
Nice.
Mr. Colby was here last Wednesday. He worked with Darlene and I. 2020 is ready for the auditors. The auditors will be here June 10th. So
Is the library aware that they need to have their stuff down here before?
I haven't reached out to any of the departments yet in what they need, but we needed to get where we were.
Yep.
So 2020 is ready for the auditors. There are some adjustments he made that the auditors may decide to do differently. I'm not sure. He will be back on the 19th to start working on the capital equipment, and we anticipate having that ready in time.
Great.
Yes.
Just to follow up on what Chuck said, there was one year, a few years back, that the library hadn't submitted something, their portion, and it held the audit up and nobody kind of realized it. And I think it carried into like the next year until you said, wait a second, there's something missing. So to his point, I think you might want to make sure that the library is given ample time to submit.
The previous audit, the 2019 audit, happened when I first arrived here.
Yeah.
And I saw what was going on, and like the treasurer's files were just rifled through and pulled, and then her stuff was a mess. So yes, we will do it more orderly. I still have 191A. I just need to proofread. Barbara's finishing it now for Mr. Edwards for the legal costs for Misty Mountain. The transfer station cash register still isn't working, and it's not the tape is not working. Mark showed me yesterday, he has this little book that holds memory cards, memory chips, and it's empty.
Huh.
So is there a new memory chip that has to go in? How often do they do that? What is that about?
It's a plug-in SD card.
And what's weird is that each day, I can total manually and it totals, but their grand total doesn't work. But when he does the very final one, the number matches.
That's a setting somewhere.
Yeah, they took out in over $900 last week.
Can we get one of those 1960 something ones with a tape on it?
I actually tried that. I couldn't find one. Yeah, it's like the old National Cash Register.
Yeah, it weighs 300 pounds, but it works.
Randy and Barbara have been cleaning out the town office building. It's looking great. If anyone has any pallets, would like to put a pallet or 2 in the boiler room to keep the plastic bins with all the election stuff up off the ground.
I probably have a.
And I've got some at the house.
Okay, I'll
Cool.
see if I've got a small one, because I imagine, or, no, see what-
Yeah, it's not very big. And I am going to be out on Thursday. Darlene will be here. I think she might be joining us for the meeting next week.
All right,
Yes. That's it.
okay, well, with that, Tom,
Yeah, I just have one thing here. Chuck, I spoke with the gentleman about the beams for the town hall that
Yeah.
you've been looking on. He gave me the name of somebody else that would have them available.
Oh, perfect.
I'll get the number there this afternoon,
If
probably,
you can. Yep.
and I'll email it right over to you.
Fantastic.
He
Thank
said
you.
he has all sorts of that stuff, this guy, and on his property, and
Good.
so that could help you out, but that's all. On you, Chuck.
All right, when you're done the meeting today, I'm gonna run over the copy of the contract and 2 of the original, or not original, the 2 current shutter sizes from the town hall over to Beach River Mill, so they can actually order the wood, the cedar, and whatever they're gonna make it out of and begin that work, so they'll have that information today. I did talk to our town energy, Associates Consortium last week around what we needed to pull together to determine town pricing and things like that. And she gave me a laundry list of stuff, so I'm gonna go through some bills here before I leave today and start gathering that information to put it up. She did say, for the membership fee, it's by physical location.
Okay.
If you have multiple buildings like we do at this one location, it's considered
Right.
one location. So the pricing is set based on the location, not putting all 4 of the town buildings together.
That was worth asking.
It definitely, and it was, she obviously been asked that question before because the level of detail she gave me in the explanation of the example tells me that she's been over that one at least once. I followed up with Spectrum, Mr. Mayor, on the 2 issues, one about the contract and 2 about the franchise fee. He wound a bunch of people up around the franchise fee because he was a little concerned that my bill no longer shows it being collected. And he had no answer to that. So I know something's going on. I just haven't heard back from him yet at this point.
So on that note, I made a couple calls to the Congress and senators for our area, and I will follow up again because I haven't heard back.
Good. RPF Environmental did the asbestos survey in the library last week. Chris Garcia, the project manager, was there with them. Between the 2 of them, they took either 3 or 4 samples, sent it off to get it evaluated. So when that comes back, we'll then be able to go out to bid for what would it take to remove the asbestos in that ceiling area. So stay tuned on that one. It's moving forward. Rebecca gave us the historic town hall library building permit that is needed for some of the state filing reports for lead abatement, asbestos, and some of the other stuff. Norman Larson finished a letter that was sent up to LCHIP. They had questions and concerns about insulation, adding insulation to the building without vapor barriers and some of the other things, and potential wall rot and other things. Norman basically did a full explanation of what he's recommending we do, put that up there. Hopefully that'll go through the review committee within a week or 2, and then we can actually physically start scheduling people to come in and do work. Townhouse Road beavers. Further down where that big problem was with that 3-foot culvert last week, it was opened up, but somebody also opened up the dam below it. So below the culvert, about 200 feet down, there's been a good sized dam for years.
Oh, okay.
Plugged up a gully. At the time they cleaned it out, somebody also took out that dam. So that is fully drained at this point.
I saw that was just a little tiny stream now.
Yeah.
I wonder if Mike did that, or I would assume.
Mike might have, or he might have been working with the guy that lives right there in the corner, because I know
yeah.
they've talked in the past too, so.
Okay.
The good news is, at this point, it looks like we're in better shape with beaver management there. I did check Clough Road, last week after I left to see if anything was going on out there, and there's like nothing. So we're in good shape from that. I had some discussions with the library chair and the treasurer regarding laptop and printer issues. I worked with Audrey. We think we've got a solution, and hopefully we'll work on that one today, and we'll see where that goes. They got an old unit that's not working, so it's like, okay, we'll come up with something else.
Excuse me, did you say the library chair, or do you mean the trust?
Actually,
The other checklist.
Pat's the treasurer and Grace's chair,
Okay.
and I basically kind of talked to the 2 of them, and so.
So for that printer, they have trust fund money too.
They did, they bought a printer,
Oh, okay.
and part of the problem is that the printer is new enough that the old laptop, just even uploading new drivers and stuff, it's just not working.
Yeah.
We're working on another solution using an existing piece of equipment, see if it works. If it does, super.
Gotcha. Technology.
And it looks like, the only other thing I need to do is basically go over the gas bills today, and I'll manually do those here before I leave. I think I mentioned that. Okay, go ahead, Mike.
Okay, let's see, picked up the signs down in Concord the other day, so I think, Tom, you're aware of that, and it's something you're working on. we should have a copy of Mr. Nason, Todd Nason's contract in the office. We just want to reestablish that. It should be there somewhere, you're saying, no?
I haven't seen it, I don't recall it.
Probably has a landscaping kind of company thing to it. I can contact him and see what that would be under. I don't remember his company's name. But we should get that squared away. Anyway. I did reach out and speak with Matt Sawyer over in Ospey, town administrator over there, and confirmed that the Hazardous Household Waste Day will be held in Ospey this year. They opted out for whatever reason last year, COVID maybe. They're back in, so they'll be the host this year, and they haven't finalized a date. They had two dates, end of July or early August, so we'll learn more on that. And I know I brought this up before, but the ambulance contract that we have, it has the addendums or appendages in the back, which list our pricing for this year, which was a 3% increase on last year. I think we have been paying last year's price. So we should make a separate check and catch up through our monthly payments. Our price was $7,016.84 last year. Our monthly pricing is $7,227.35 on our contract for this year, which is $210.51. So over 5 months, we're looking at $1,050, $1,250. So it'd probably be nice to get action here once they're,
Yep.
Just saying, and I can, give you whatever information you may need, Audrey, to accomplish that. Let's see, street lighting is still on our bucket list to get after, just a reminder. And just a question to you, Chuck. I know when we met with some of our vendors, we looked at the library parking lot. Were you able to get the diagrams or schematics that
Actually, I met with Lenny Foss yesterday, the owner of the landscaping company,
yeah,
and we had that discussion, and he said he's got the plans pretty well laid out, but he's been having a problem getting some information from a paving contractor. And I said, I got somebody that I can hook you up with really quick. So I sent an email out to both parties last night for them to connect.
nice.
So basically, he's gonna try and have something in a visual for us, not a final product visual, but a visual for us for the town meeting on the 15th. So it'll give us a bit of an idea of what he's proposing, and then we can begin discussions in town as to what that might look like. So it's not gonna happen this year. This is all about education and getting stuff in place for a year or so down the road.
All right, great. Let's see, we got our zoning officer's monthly report. I know she sent out an email as to whether some parties that she informs with the report, like the planning board, for instance, would get a monthly. The zoning officer's been informing us of changes weekly. My personal thoughts on that I shared with her was simply that whatever works best for her. But I did put an emphasis on that the Board of Selectmen, for us to get weekly updates as she's been providing.
Yeah.
I think it's really,
They're good reads. She's got a good summary, and it just kind of keeps you up to date, everything that's going on.
Yeah, I'd like them to keep going.
yeah, okay, because, yeah,
And I don't think we need to print it out. I mean, it's like, I read it,
yeah, you get
every day
the,
she does it, and we can just reference it, we've seen it.
And the permit thing, she can just, I think on that email, she wants to do it when she sends in the monthly report, right? To send
Right.
The
Yeah.
permit. I mean, I know we get them every week now, but if she wants to do, just as long as we get the update every week, I'm okay with seeing the permits once a month, I guess.
yeah, no, that's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, she could just list, here's the entity, here's what the permit's about, just as a single line,
Mhm.
and then at the month end, just attach the individual reports.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what typically, this has been a light week, but we get overloaded with so much information, trying to take a month's worth of reports from her in a single meeting it's a lot. So, all right, I'll probably touch base again and see if that's still convenient enough for her without me putting undue burden on her to put that together. Let me see. I think that's pretty much all that I had this week. It's a light week. There's a lot of things going on, but not a lot to report on. So I am good. No old business, no new business that I'm aware of to discuss.
Were you able to set up the health officer email?
I'm waiting a couple of weeks on that, just because there's other things in play, and so that I don't make people duplicate any efforts.
Okay.
I'm just gonna hold off a bit. I know that there was a new business item to discuss, the town office reopening. I'd like to just throw out that maybe it'd be best to bring all the staff together in a work session and kind of, figure this out before we kind of plunge into anything. Is that?
Yeah, can we do it
Okay.
next week?
Yeah, whenever, I would say if Audrey wants to check with everybody's schedule and anybody who wants to participate and have input, just try to line up a good date and time. And we're usually pretty flexible, right? Maybe throw a couple dates at us.
I think there's two different topics that raised their heads yesterday. One is the staff and the people who come in to register vehicles and things like that. And then there's the meetings. So, for example, the planning board chair asked me what the policy was and what we were doing, and I explained that, if you have a specific purpose, like the fire chief needs to come in, what your practice has been, that one person comes in. Or like the public hearing, there was no one presenting, but we allowed all the public on Zoom. So the practice has been that the general public are Zoom, and that if someone has a specific appointment, they brought in. And that's what I explained to her. And that's also what I observed in the Conservation Commission meeting last night. They're doing the same thing. They were all masked, and the commission was here, and they had one appointment, and that gentleman came in with a mask. So there's what the boards are doing and the mask situation with them. And then the other issue with the town hall being open, that's more of a staff related, and everyone seems good with it. We feel like we can take the plexiglass from the foyer and put it in front of the window, because our windows are big sliding windows,
Yeah.
and that plexiglass can fit there, so we're just dealing with a small space. And then, doing sanitation as needed. And if we have them stop at just the town clerk's office, it'll reduce where people are in the building. Because my office, I believe, mostly does thumb stickers, and we can go to Westwood's window.
Okay.
That was the initial thought, but most people are fine with opening. I feel like the staff should still wear masks dealing with them.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, that's part of why I think a work session, just to get everybody's input, to make sure everybody's on the same page, everybody was included, and everybody heard the same conversation. And with that, I know there was a bill, and I haven't followed up on it, but there was a bill on the floor, going to the floor, to extend meetings, the remote interaction into, I think it's May of next year. So as far as having Zoom participants for planning boards and other boards, this board, it seems like that's probably going to stay in place. And then having the opportunity to make sure that whatever we're suggesting we're doing still aligns with what the state's allowing, and that we're on good footing with the decision. So that's what I'd just like to say, maybe just getting everybody in the room so that we are sure that we're doing things properly, because I really haven't stayed completely on top of it to know that we're making a decision that is solid. I'm pretty comfortable that the Health and Human Services sent out something where mask is still, and it was through the governor's office, I believe, it was still businesses in municipalities can mandate mask wearing. I think for the foreseeable future, my feeling is probably to stay with that, given some situations around the world, India variants these mutations that are showing up, and some increased cases in the country, just to play it safe a little while longer and stay masked. But that's just one That's one person we'll have that discussion, I guess, so.
Can you zoom in, have people in at the same time?
Yeah, as Audrey said, you may be the principal or a couple of principal people who are presenting your
No, I meant
application.
if we were opening it up, say we came to a decision, we're gonna open up down the road here.
Yeah.
Can we still keep the Zoom going too,
Yes.
for people who don't wanna
Yeah.
still come in?
Sure, we can do
And
that,
there are people that.
Right,
do
oh,
not
yeah,
wanna
a
come in.
lot,
right?
okay.
Well, one of the questions also that has been posed to me is about whether everybody is vaccinated. Now, whether that's meaning staff or other people in the room, that's kind of a personal choice. So it's gonna be kind of obvious. Not everybody's gonna be vaccinated, and some folks realizing that may not be comfortable coming into that environment and may want to participate on Zoom, as you pointed out. So I think we need to keep all of our options open.
And I told staff that I believe that that's actually a HIPAA question right now.
Right, yeah, that's, nobody's under, it's a health-related choice thing, so nobody's gonna be asked that, and nobody's obligated to answer it, and that will not be part of what we would be asking our staff or people that come to the door. Okay, anything else on that one, Audrey?
If you want, do you want to do a work session, after the election? You know, maybe Wednesday's our meeting next week, but some of the staff don't work Wednesdays and
We do fall.
so, okay, we'll do it the following week, the 18th.
Sure. Let's see, on another note, we have moved our meeting to the 12th. I have an opportunity to go on a health officers training call. One of the other bills that's in front of the legislature is that the mandatory 3 hours training a year for health officers, which seems a little light, but so between 8 a.m. and 11:45, there's a training available, and I would like to take it just because it would meet all of the criteria. So either I could ask the board, could we reschedule, or would you guys mind if you just excuse me for the training and you guys have the meeting?
I may or may not be there that day at all. There's a medical thing that's coming up when we get a 24-hour notice ahead of when we're supposed to be there, and it's on Wednesday. I just don't know what time.
Right.
Go jump to Thursday then.
We just skip a week.
No, you manifest and all.
Yeah, I'm fine with moving it one more time to the Thursday because one of the things that there was a practice to skip certain weeks in the past, and that might be a blessing to some people in the staff here, but it wasn't always met well by members of the public. And I certainly remember being one of those members of the public that I'd like to see the business take place every week, and there's a consistency with that I still appreciate.
So Thursday, the 13th.
Sure, okay. All right, so we'll go with Thursday.
Change the website.
Same time, what time?
Say 9 a.m.
We could do the work session that day then. That would be good. Because Darlene, I believe, is in here the 18th.
Okay. So we'll have our meeting, get business out of the way, and just go into a work session and cover the topic. Super. All right. Well, I'm glad I brought that up. With that, I guess we're into public comment, and if anybody, just one last check around and anything else.
I'm all set.
Okay, any public comment?
People want to raise their hand or put something in the chat box. none.
All right, and seeing none, I will make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Hold on a second.
It was a race. All in favor?
Fuller, aye.
Hi,
Okay, Hal and I, thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Audrey, thank you very much. And write that down. That might be a record for this particular board.